that my predecessor, Speaker Emerita, played a major role in organizing the youth debate and youth parliamentary proceedings in the past for many, many years. So I'd like us to give her a standing ovation, a big round of applause for the work she has done so far. Though we are taking a slightly different approach to this approach in regards to the debate, where we are actually bringing a group of parliamentarians, junior parliamentarians, to serve for 1 year in the first instance, but we'll have 2 rounds of debate in the first year. I would like to also thank the Honorable Prime Minister for placing his confidence in the youth. Sir, your presence here today speaks volumes. I don't have to say what the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance have done for youth in Dominica. So I would just want us to give him a round of applause for what he has done so far. The NYCD and you, the youth here, present here today, and youth across Dominica, can rest assured that the House of Assembly is fully committed to ensuring that this event, and I'm talking about the event of March 23rd and 24th, and today, become a major success, and that you will actually start a major platform for your thinking in legislative processes. So once again, welcome you, all of you here this morning, and thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for everyone coming here. This is a major platform for Dominica, a major platform for Dominican youth. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Joseph Isaac, the Speaker of the House of Assembly. Let's give him a round of applause again, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, I'd like to invite the President of the National Youth Council of Dominica, Ms. Ashman Mcdougall, to give a brief remarks. Let her feel welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning to the Honorable Roosevelt Skyret, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica and the Minister of Finance, to the Honorable Joseph Isaac, Speaker of the House of Assembly, to the Honorable Dr. Addis King, Minister of Youth Development and Empowerment and Youth at Risk, Gender Affairs, Senior Securities and Dominicans with Disabilities, to the Senator Philip Rowe, Deputy Speaker, members of the National Youth Council of Dominica, youth parliamentarians of the 2022-2023 cohort, invited guests, and media. Good morning. My young friends, it is my esteemed pleasure to deliver remarks at this inaugural and what I consider to be an historic event this morning for youth. This is such an amazing accomplishment for youth and the National Youth Council of Dominica, and I'm quite fortunate for the support from this extraordinary executive in steering such positive change. I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the government of Dominica, represented here by the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Speaker of the House, the Chief Youth Development Officer, the Honorable Deputy Speaker, who have all been instrumental in the planning and execution and realization of this ceremony today and Youth Parliament. Importantly, to the Youth Minister, Dr. King, who has warmly welcomed and supported this council and every endeavor we have pitched to the ministry. Thank you for giving us youth the opportunity to engage, to be empowered, and to participate in the processes that affect us. The Youth Parliament is not a new initiative, as the Honorable Joseph Isaac mentioned earlier. In fact, Youth Parliament debates previously organized by the House of Assembly have been organized to commemorate Commonwealth Youth Day activities, where great discourse has been highlighted among many of our students. However, what is eccentric about this cohort of youth parliamentarians is that this will be the first sitting National Youth Parliament. And these parliamentarians have been appointed for a 1-year tenure supported by the National Youth Council's institutional framework, which is outlined in our recently revised Constitution. Despite the Constitution making provisions for this branch to be established, in over 30 years, this is the first executive that will induct a seating youth parliament, and it is our hope that in the 2023 call, the appointment will be for 2 years to the NYP. In order to continue with the spirit and enthusiasm of the NYC's Creating the Vision, Effecting the Change theme, the objective of the NYP is to hear the voices of young individuals between 16 and 35. More so, this Parliament encourages our active participation in socio-economic debates. It promotes the youth to engage and to understand the public issues in the view of a common young man or woman in Dominica. And on the 23rd and 24th of March, opinions will be shared, facts will be debated, and youth will represent positively. We recognize that there are strong youth voices that can be empowered, captured, and documented to improve outcomes. And we are rest assured that the support shown across the head table this morning will continue through the Parliament cycle, and that policymakers and implementers will engage with us, will listen, and consider our recommendations in this first meeting in March and in our next meeting in October. A great deal of what we'll be discussing in the coming weeks in the House reflects the preoccupations facing youth everywhere today. A world of controversy surrounds the medical use of cannabis, and following the amendment by the government in 2020 to decriminalize the possession of cannabis, much national attention has been drawn on its impacts of youth, with proponents arguing the billions it will add to their economies, while opponents highlight the impacts on young persons. It lends the question of contextualizing our own realities in Dominica, and we are taking the marijuana legalization debate to Parliament. The COVID-19 viral pandemic is an unprecedented global phenomenon, and its response in the form of protracted nationwide lockdowns have had several short-term as well as long-term impacts on human health, on society, on our environment, and obviously our economy. And I am confident that this topic will be keenly welcomed by His Excellency Charles Savre, as youth voices have not been widely heard on vaccinations. While 42.8% of our population has been vaccinated, many people resist vaccine mandates on pragmatic grounds. However, the new normal doesn't seem to suffice. So are vaccinations the resolve? A country that has unlocked its potential in all sectors of the economy provides for sustainable, holistic, and inclusive national development. This debate topic is perhaps the most anticipated. Youth everywhere across the world cite unemployment as the most earnest challenge that they face. It is imperative to understand what shifts are necessary to improve market efficiencies and what capital projects should be prioritized in Dominica. We're talking housing, the international airports, and renewable energy. Youth are excited to speak, and we are grateful to the House of Assembly, who has supported us this far, for the opportunity and the medium to do so. Our first VP, Mr. Lander, always takes the opportunity to brag about the National Youth Council executive being no ordinary executive. Justifiably so, of course. But it is accurate to state the same for this cohort of youth parliamentarians. With representation from the South, the North, the East, the West, including our indigenous populations, and even the Nyp group, with many diverse profiles, educational backgrounds, leadership experience, and interest in youth affairs, we anticipate debates that will reflect the general ideas of youth across the country. The selection of this cohort was as rigorous as the training sessions that will follow today's briefing, supported by communications and public speaking specialists, senior parliamentarians, researchers, and debate experts, which will only enhance the skills the parliamentarians will bring to the House in March. We are in for a great debate. My heart is glad that this initiative, this milestone has materialized with such success thus far. This is our first experiment, a big one at that, but I will insist that we will solicit suggestions regarding the shortcomings, how the NYP can be improved through the process, so as to strengthen it as we build an institution so that whosoever wishes to enter the youth parliament in the future will do so inspired by our own leadership journeys. I wish to congratulate the 30 appointed parliamentarians today. We are making history. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mcdougall, President of the National Youth Council of Dominica. Right now, we just want to take 2 seconds to recognize some amazing sponsors and partners who've been working with us to ensure that the National Youth Parliament is a success. So firstly, we'd like to thank the government of Dominica, represented by the House of Assembly, as well as the Ministry of Youth, who's been really instrumental in planning and assisting us with the National Youth Parliament. Also, would like to thank the National Cooperative Credit Union, UE Open Campus, and the Chinese Embassy for providing sponsorship. So just thank them for their generous donation. Right now, we'd like to invite the Minister of Youth, Development and Empowerment and Youth at Risk, the Honorable Dr. Addis King, to deliver remarks. Please let her feel welcome.
Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. Honorable Joseph Isaac, Speaker of the House of Assembly. Senator Philip Roll, Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly. Ms. Ashman Mcdougall, President of the National Youth Council of Dominica. Ms. Luana Lura, Chairperson of the Selection Committee. Mr. Ashfred Norris, who is our Master Ceremony and is also a member of the National Youth Council of Dominica. You, the young people gathered here today, 30 of you, the media, the listening public. A pleasant good morning to all of you. I must say, it brings me great joy to see strides made towards the hosting of this National Youth Parliament. The National Youth Parliament is yet another excellent platform for the voices of our Dominican youth to be heard. Through this platform, youth are encouraged to voice their concerns, their ideas, their opinions through active debates, which will ultimately take part in the shaping of our country's programs and policies. The National Youth Parliament also provides an opportunity for our youth to deepen their understanding in parliamentary democracy while developing skills in research, public speaking, advocacy, and policy formulation. As the Minister responsible for youth development and empowerment, I can tell you and I assure you that I will be paying close attention to the activities of this new National Youth Parliament. The youth has and they continue to be a primary focus of this Dominica Labour Party administration. And it is shown clearly here of the presence of the Honorable Prime Minister and myself as Minister for Youth. It is therefore our intention as a government to engage in discussion with the newly appointed youth parliamentarians as we seek to continue to make Dominica a better place, not just for the youth of today, but also for the future generation. I look forward to the collaborative effort which will bring about solutions to the challenges faced by our young people today. Oftentimes, when called upon to do so, many of our young people shy away from leadership positions. However, this morning, we can clearly see that this is not the case. I am elated to be in the company of you, the 30 strong young people who have embarked on a new leg of journey in their quest to make positive contributions to your communities, your country, and the world by extension. These young parliamentarians have responded to the call, and I know they are ready to tackle head-on some of the issues that confront our youth. Above all, though, it is my hope that this participation in the Youth Parliament will bring about stronger community leaders and stronger leaders in this country. May you, the youth parliamentarians, continue to be a positive model to your counterparts. I hope by participating in this youth parliament, the first sitting youth parliament, that you will encourage other young people to take up this responsibility to serve the country. Your role as we seek to build our dynamic Dominica is of great importance, and I urge you never to forget that. As I close, I wish to commend the National Youth Council of Dominica for embarking on this initiative, and I thank the Chief Youth Development Officer and the staff of the Youth Development Division for their hard work and their continued support to the National Youth Council. Congratulations to all of you, the young parliamentarians, and I wish you a successful term of service. Thank you.
Thank you to the Honorable Dr. Addis King. Let's hear it again for the Minister of Youth. Right now, please join me in welcoming the address by the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica and the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit.
Thank you. Thank you. Just to say to you that I participated in a youth parliament in 1988. In 1988. So I'm happy to be here today. I want to recognize the presence of Honorable Joseph Isaac, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Honorable Dr. Addis King, our Minister for Youth Development, also our Deputy Speaker, Honorable Roll, Mr. James, the Clerk of the House of Assembly, Ms. Mcdougall, the President of the NYC, and other executive members, and of course, most importantly, the youth parliamentarians present here this morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends all. Thank you for inviting me here today. I am honored to address you this morning because I am a firm supporter of any activity which advances the interests of the youth, assists them to develop their skills, and empowers them to become well-meaning, contributing members of our society. The National Youth Parliament of Dominica is one such activity designed to give our young people a voice, develop their talents, and strengthen their resolve to make successes of their lives. The Youth Parliament was structured to encourage active citizenship among the youth and promote involvement in democracy and governance. This is a most commendable initiative, and the Governor of Dominica and myself in particular is in full support of the efforts of the National Youth Council to boost youth participation in meaningful activities on a national scale. The Youth Parliament is being held at a time when government is renewing its commitment to the development of youth and the creation of opportunity for all. We embrace our role to provide an enabling environment for the young people of this country to thrive. Even apart from the new opportunities we are creating now, I can say with utmost confidence that we have always prioritized the interests of the youth of this country. Hundreds of Dominicans are pursuing higher studies at universities around the world, and thousands more have graduated and are building successful lives for themselves and their families. Our record in education is unmatched, and a deliberate strategy to empower youth as social, political, and economic actors in our country. It is a strategy which seeks to involve youth in the decision-making processes of this country and to create future leaders who can bring value to its development in time. And you can see that in the appointment of several young ministers, and also, especially a 24-year-old being the Deputy Speaker of our House of Assembly, the youngest in the history of Dominica. The fact is, more and more of our young people are driving ideas, innovations, and creativity in areas such as digitalization and small business. As a government, we recognize the immense talent and capacity of our young people and are creating the opportunities for them to become major players in the economic and social life of this country. Young people, therefore, are at the heart of our development plans. Just last weekend, I met with a number of young IT professionals, computer programmers, and software developers to apprise them of developments in the digital economy. Government has secured $75 million to advance the digital economy. And as part of the Caribbean Digital Transformation Project, we are developing the enabling environment to drive competition, investment, and innovation. I told the youth at the consultation the initiatives we are undertaking will spur economic growth, and that the aim is to create a new economy which uses technology to create jobs for young people. The idea is that youth must be at the forefront of such initiatives and must be integrated at all stages of our development planning. I am speaking of the importance of young people's voices and our responsibility as leaders to embolden them to participate and to harness their ideas and talents as we plan for the future. As leaders in government, in youth organizations, in schools, we are called to build our young people's confidence and provide them with the right environment to hone their skills for personal development and for the good of the country. Youth advocates like you have a key role to play in developing a cadre of young people who can provide effective leadership now and in the future. I am here today to offer my support and to celebrate your efforts to educate and train your peers to be full participants in a progressive society. The Youth Parliament will help to strengthen our democracy and demonstrate the importance of tolerance. The forum will engender an appreciation among young people for the business of legislation, debate, and governance. Not only will it equip youth parliamentarians with knowledge of parliamentary procedure, but it will all allow them to form informed opinions, and I say informed opinions, on matters of public interest and make useful recommendations for solutions on pressing issues. Significantly, it will allow them to develop respect for the views of others and deference for the rules of the House or any other formal institution. It will emphasize the importance of articulating differences of opinion in a cordial and contained manner to avoid confrontation and conflict. We can all agree there is need for future leaders. Some we expect will one day be members of Parliament, to appreciate the need for the respectful exchange of ideas in the House, despite sitting on opposite sides. Unfortunately, this is a skill some of our current parliamentarians have not mastered. The topics you chose for deliberation are timely and appropriate. The issue of marijuana as an economic driver for Dominica is on our agenda, and I look forward to your ideas on this very important initiative. While we are sticking to the view that vaccination should not be mandatory for any segment of our society, I am sure your arguments on this will be enlightening to our population, which is currently grappling with the many challenges posed by COVID-19. Your views on housing, geothermal energy, and of course the international airport, I expect are well-researched, and we welcome your insights on these important development programs. Once again, I thank and commend the executive of the NYCD for initiating this activity and providing so many of our young people with a forum for expression. I congratulate Ms. Mcdougall and her team at the NYCD for their resourcefulness and drive. There is a clear renewal of effort to position the organization to positively impact youth development. Your work has not gone unnoticed, and I pledge our continuing support of your plans and programs. I also commend the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Honorable Joseph Isaac, for his willingness to provide you with all the support you need to execute this activity. Commendation and thanks also to our Minister for Youth Development, who has directed her ministry to provide all of the support required to the NYCD, not only for this initiative, but for the many other initiatives that are ongoing. And sincere commendations to our Deputy Speaker, Honorable Roll, for his commitment and coordination of this youth parliament. As you prepare for your experience as youth parliamentarians, I urge you to exercise a high level of discipline and dedication, which means if Parliament starts at 10, you have to be seated before 10 and before the Speaker comes in to the House. As the first step of discipline, it is punctuality. Approach the process with seriousness and make it worthwhile. In that, you learn from the experience and use the knowledge to guide your future choices as young professionals, eager to play a prominent role in national development. Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and President of NYC, I wish to offer to host a training session in the second week of March at the Kempinski Hotel for all of the youth parliamentarians so that I could share with them my own experiences in the Parliament and to give you a few tips as you prepare for your big day on March 24th. Well, by the applause, I am treating this as an acceptance of the offer. And so we shall direct that all arrangements be made to host this event so we can have a chat on the topics and to guide you on some of the things that you will need to do. Pay attention to as you prepare. But I wanted to come here to register my absolute support for all of you and for this initiative. And we do hope that it will become a permanent fixture in our country so that young people can have this platform to render their voices to issues of national development. And so the government will certainly, through the House of Assembly, provide the resources to ensure that we have the resources required to guarantee its success. So I wish you all the best as you prepare, but always understand that you have to research, do it, so studying your research. So when I see you on the second week of March, then we'll have a more detailed engagement. So you could ask me questions, and I could respond, and I could give some guidance. So may God bless all of you, young people. This is our country. Let us remain positive about our country. And let us not focus on the difficulties, but focus more on the solutions to difficulties as we define them. That's what the Lord places on earth to do. Not to complain, but to find solutions to worldly problems. God bless you, and God bless our country. Thank you.
I think we can do a little better than that. Let's hear it once again for the Honorable Prime Minister. Great news this morning. So as you know, in order for National Youth Parliament to be the success that we would like it to be, a multi-sectoral approach is absolutely necessary. So this is why we're really grateful for the engagement that we've had with the Ministry of Education, represented by Ms. Merita Hyacinth and Ms. Joanne Rowe-Carrett, who's been instrumental in this process from the start. So I'd really like to highlight the importance that the Ministry of Education has played, as well as the Youth Development Division represented by the Chief Youth Development Officer, Mr. John Roach. So I'd like to give them a round of applause right now. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. And I see our chairperson of the Selections Committee, who's also the executive member responsible for finance on the National Youth Council of Dominica. I see she's excited to give us the good news. So right now, assist me in welcoming the chairperson of the Selections Committee, Ms. Luana Lora, to give the announcement of the youth parliamentarians. Let's give her a round of applause, please.
To the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Dr. Honorable Roosevelt Skerritt, to the Honorable Joseph Isaac, Speaker of the House of Assembly, to the Honorable Dr. Addis King, Minister of Youth Development and Empowerment, to Senator Philip Roll, Deputy Speaker, the Chief Youth Development Officer, Mr. John Roach, President and Executive Members of the National Youth Council of Dominica, Youth Parliamentarians of the 2022-2023 cohort, invited guests, media, good morning. Congratulations to the 31 selected youth parliamentarians. It is my distinct honor to appoint you today, but before we go ahead and do that, I would like to give a short insight into the selection process so that you can understand how you have earned your way here. A committee was established by the NYCD to facilitate a transparent and fair selection process. This committee comprised of representatives from the Ministry of Education, the debating institution, the Dominica State College, the House of Assembly and the Youth Development Division, and the NYCD, which holds the position of chairperson. You, the candidates, were scored and weighted on a basis of 4 criteria. The suitability, as it relates to your age, your youth group representation, your nationality and residency. Your leadership capabilities, which included the role that you hold in your organizations and any major achievements that you have accomplished in these organizations. Your interest and the ability to communicate that rationale. And your project proposal. You were asked to submit a project proposal on an idea or a project that you believe that you can execute in your communities. And you were judged based on its feasibility, its impact, and its sustainability. Upon reviewing the applications, 20 successful individuals were appointed by the committee, and the remaining 11 were nominated by service clubs and institutions. To the youth who were not selected today, I want to tell you, do not be discouraged. We are proud of you for answering the call to serve. Continue to have a presence in your community because we may just call on you to serve throughout this process. Today, we present the 20 plus 11 youth parliamentarians through a random selection to be placed on each debating side, whether proposing or opposing. Once again, congratulations to you and all the best through this process. So I have with me the sealed selection of names from which we will randomly dip. Ashman, can you assist me, please?
This is what you call breaking the seal at the moment.
Bring it for me. Bring it, yes. So you will take a note of your name. Oh. You got to dip it. And pass it for me. We will call your name and indicate which side that you will be presenting on. The first name. On the proposing side, on the opposing side, we have José Maximin. On the proposing side, we have Ashman Mcdougall. Opposing, Gabrielle Leblanc. Proposing, Amica Cognet. Opposing, Firelander. Opposing, Adicia Burton. Proposing, Keanu Winston. Opposing, Lorenzo Sanford. Opposing, Daniel Panthe. Opposing, Yannick Regis. Proposing, Ashford Norris. Opposing, Anessa Laurent. Proposing, Curdell Coffey. Proposing, Hanif Gregoire. Proposing, Michael Aline. Proposing, Kevin Scott. Proposing, Trisha Uzeb. Proposing, Stefina Martin Williams. Proposing Jayan Abraham. Opposing Malik Stewart. Opposing Rachel Andrew. Proposing Shama Etienne. Opposing Anika Andrew. Opposing Benton Julius. Proposing Shay Gittins. Opposing Lakia Joseph. Proposing Wendy Wallace. Opposing Cornelia Adams. Proposing Paloma Mack. Opposing Zebediah Maxwell. And the House will be presided by our Senator, the Honorable Philip Rowe. Congratulations to all of you. Can you stand? Let's give them a round of applause, everyone. Put it back in there. Thank you.
Thank you once again to Ms. Luana Lura, Chairperson of the Selections Committee and Executive Member responsible for Finance at the National Youth Council of Dominica. And as myself, as the Chairperson of the General Assembly of the National Youth Council, I would like to say congratulations to everyone. I really do hope that you love your sides, and I'll see you in Parliament. Right now, I would like to invite the Deputy Speaker of the House, Senator Philip Rowe, to give the vote of thanks. Please make out our Speaker of the House at Parliament. Feel welcome.
All right, good morning to all. Please permit me to recognize our Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Joseph Isaac, Speaker of the House of Assembly, Ms. Ashman Mcdougall, President of the National Youth Council of Dominica, other executive members of the NYC, you, the youth parliamentarians of the 2022-2023 cohort, invited guests, the media, and it would be remiss of me not to, oh, I see Mr. Roach as well. Let me recognize Mr. Roach, the Chief Youth Development Officer, and it would be remiss of me not to recognize the Ministry of Education, who is represented by Ms. Hyacinth, and I see Mrs. Roll Carrot at the back. A pleasant good morning to everyone. Good morning. It is an honor to deliver this vote of thanks at what I believe we all consider a very special occasion for us youth in Dominica. The National Youth Parliament will undoubtedly serve as a breeding ground for future leaders and inspire future youth parliamentarians. On behalf of the National Youth Parliament Committee, I wish to first and foremost express gratitude to our Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, and the Government of Dominica for the support and keen interest your administration continues to take in the youth of this country. I would like to express thanks to the Honorable Speaker of the House, Honorable Joseph Isaac, and the entire staff of the House of Assembly for allowing the National Youth Parliament to be hosted in the chamber, and also for his guidance during the planning process. I say thank you to the Honorable Dr. King, Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment, for the continued support and presence at youth activities. It was Helen Keller who said, "Alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much." And it is for this reason we are extremely grateful to all our partners and collaborators, which include the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, the University of the West Indies Open Campus, the National Cooperative Credit Union, the Ministry of Education, Dr. Shaila Esprit, Ms. Dion Duran, Dr. Kimon Joseph, and the entire National Youth Parliament Selection Committee. A heartfelt thanks also goes out to you, the newly appointed youth parliamentarians, for answering the call, like Dr. King mentioned. All these plans would mean nothing if it wasn't for your involvement and commitment to this process. Let me also take time to thank the media for being with us this morning. And finally, it would be remiss of me not to thank the President and the entire executive of the National Youth Council of Dominica for really spearheading efforts to see this National Youth Parliament come to fruition. I believe that from the onset, this initiative ranked very high on the agenda, which is why, in large measure, we are here today. So once again, I say thank you to all, and a blessed morning. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Senator Philip Rule, Deputy Speaker of the House. Right now, we have just concluded this morning's press briefing, but I'd like to ask you to remain where you are for a moment as we give the Honorable Prime Minister the ability to depart. So I'd like to thank him once again for his presence, the Honorable Dr. Elizabeth Skerry. Please stand.
And there you have it, the press briefing of the presentation of the youth parliamentarians for Dominica for the year 2022-2023. Over 31 youth across the island are being selected to be part of the youth parliament next month, March, and of course DBS Radio will be on top of that. You heard from the Honorable Joseph Isaac, the Speaker of the House of Assembly, the President of the NYCD, Ashman Mcdougall, Honorable Dr. Addis King, Minister of Youth Development and Empowerment, Youth and Youth at Risk, also the address from the Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. So DBS will be bringing you more information on this youth parliament as it proceeds. Of course, we congratulate our young parliamentarians, our youth at heart, our parliamentarians here in Dominica. We do wish them all the best, and we're looking forward to their presentations at Youth Parliament next month. So on behalf of our techs on duties, well represented here this morning, my name is Kimara Ito. I'm taking you back to Studio 1, DBS Radio.